Hello everyone, welcome back to Football Manager 2020. I'm a little sick today, so my energy might be a little lacking, but I'm going to try to keep it up for this recording. Today we have a couple more winnable games. It's a while before we face anything terribly difficult. We have our rematch with Generation Foot, like our second match. This one's at home, so very strong chances for us in the Continental Cup. Or Confederation Cup, that's what it is. And then we have a Premier League match against Chippa United, who are all the way, where is it saying? All the way down 16th out of 16 teams this year. So we should be able to win that one too, even with our injuries and our poor finances. The big challenge here will be just keeping everyone who's not injured healthy as we integrate the injured players back into the team, because I suspect during this session a fair number of people are going to be returning from injuries, barring any complications. Here we can see how we've been just grinding it out for the last couple of matches. We're not winning impressively, but we are holding on. That's good. The match we have coming up next session with Black Leopards is chosen for television. That's probably our first actually potentially challenging match. Unfortunately, despite our doing rather well this year, there's a couple of really strong teams in the league, so my early aspirations of winning the league this year are fully out the window. We're far enough down that even if we keep playing well, we're not going to be able to get in. But it's nice to see Muckwell is doing well in his training. So it's good when the youngsters are developing well. I missed the player progression. Notice. Grab that now. Yeah, nothing terribly interesting. He's making good development. They give you those notifications, and I suppose they're good if you turn off all input from your coaches during making choices. But if your coaches are giving you input, you don't really need them, because they'll tell you who's developing when it's relevant. Manaka picked up a tight hamstring. It's only an orange injury, so he can come in if we need him, and he's only out for 1 to 3 days. He's almost certainly going to be back by the time we need him. Same with Fountain's injured a tight calf. I'm probably going to try to avoid using them this next match, because we are against Generation Foot, who are not exactly a strong challenger. So like we can sub in like Safema for Fountain. And Manaka wasn't in danger of making the first team right now anyway. Just keep Fountain out and make sure we don't aggravate that injury in a match that we absolutely don't need him. He might be on the bench for this one, in which case we can consider bringing him in if we need to. But I don't see us being in a position where we need him badly enough to risk him aggravating an injury. Because that's always the most frustrating time, where someone gets a minor injury and then it just keeps recurring or getting worse, and you eventually lose them. This will be my 400th match as head coach. This is definitely the deepest I've ever been in a save. And yeah, we're surefire favorites to win this. It's 1 to 14, 20 to 1 that they can beat us. So definitely not uh, going to be worth risking, Fountain. I'm really disappointed that we have to lose Mavule, but like I've been saying, we need to get people off the books. The thing I hate is that he went to Al Rayyan, which are a Qatar team, and the teams from the Middle East don't abide by transfer windows. So he's immediately leaving and going there, which means no more Mabule for us for the rest of the season. I would have liked him to go to Italy or Spain or somewhere where he's going to have to stay until the spring transfer window so I can at least use him. Like now I'm having to put Innocent Dlamini in for corners because we don't have anyone left who takes corners. So that means I get to find him in this whole big list. There he is. He's injured right now anyway, so this is sure helpful to have him in as a corner taker, but we're in a pretty dire situation on that at the moment. Yeah, I'm just going to be an asshole to Sammy Seavey because he took the wrong thing from what I said. I told him if he proved he deserved to be in the team, I'd put him in. And he took that to be just, oh, well, I deserve to be there. I'll be in the team now. And he's not, so I'm just going to have to piss him off because I want to keep playing better players. I suspect I'm going to need him next year, so I don't want to sell him. Let's take Torre off the loan list. But I don't really want to be in a position where I'm dependent on Sammy Seavey anymore. I like the guy personally, but like he's not as good as a lot of other people we have. I suspect I'm going to be back to using him when I have to empty the books and fire a whole bunch of people. I'll let anyone who wants to go to the reserves. This match does not matter, and we should win it comfortably no matter who I bring. So I'll let them go to the reserves. Oh, it's the day after anyway. Definitely can take whoever they want there. Yeah, Fountain's pretty much fully recovered from his injury. Boshov's back. Makwakwina is limited to 75 minutes. Foster limited to 45 minutes. Mattia limited to 45 minutes. Neither of these guys have officially returned to the team yet, but they're already good enough to get into the squad at some level. I have no intention of starting either of them. Especially not on our rough pitch. It's going to be a warm day. Warm and breezy, but not so hot that it's actually dangerous. Oops. I'm really happy with the team we're able to put out. The only little bit weak spot is David Tao in the middle. But due to injuries, he's necessary right now. And he's not awful. He's just, it would be nice if I could have a better player in there. And yeah, none of the injured people even made the bench. We are starting Makwakwina, who's recommended to be limited to 75 minutes. But I think I can push him to the full 90 if I have to. We'll see how he's doing. That's the one thing to keep an eye on, is how McLaughlin was doing. I'll probably try to sub him at the 60 or 70th minute mark unless stuff is going wrong, because there's no point in pushing my luck. Probably the 70th minute slot I'm going to pencil him in for getting subbed. That's as close to what doctors recommend him being out there, and he's so much better than any striker I have. Any other striker I have, I should say. So if possible, I want him to play the bulk of the match, but he could be playing poorly, he could re-aggravate his injuries, or he could just have major stamina issues that require me to sub him earlier. Or something could go wrong where the rest of the team's playing like garbage and I just need to make other subs. There's a very real chance they don't take Generation Foot seriously and just don't try in this game. Doesn't look like we're in any danger of that. They're putting a lot of pressure on them early. And that's what I want, for us to just maintain the pressure. If we keep this up, we'll get a goal in. And I don't really care if we win this game, except in the sense that I don't want them picking up bad habits that they'll bring into other games that matter. Because if they get slack here, they're going to continue to be slack when we play Chippa next. And that match does matter, so I want them to stay focused and aggressive here just to bring in good habits. Tunkara got us a goal early, which is nice. 5 minutes in and we're already up by a goal. I think this game's going to go well. It's actually going to potentially pose the other type of danger with this sort of match, where they get cocky playing such a weak team that they don't try that hard because for the next match, because they assume it's going to be easy like this. That's what happened last time we played Generation Foot. We struggled in the Premier League because everyone was cocky. I think we still managed to win the next match, but it was tighter than I wanted it to be. Tunkara almost got a brace in 7 minutes. I find these to be the hardest matches to manage, because on one hand, I kind of want to just ease up on the throttle and give them time to recover. Take it a little easy, don't push things, don't get anyone hurt. We don't need to run up a huge score here. We're already winning the group. But if I do that, then they start bringing in bad habits for upcoming matches that I care about. So on the other hand, I kind of want to keep the pressure on as McLaughlin scores his 21st of the season. Tunkara gets an assist on that, so he's an early candidate for player of the match. And with us being 2 goals up in the first 12 minutes, I think I'm almost certainly going to be subbing McLaughlin off, just because I don't foresee me possibly needing him to be in. But it's awful early in the match to lock that in, so I'm going to wait and see how things play out. I'm certainly not exchanging him in the first half. If nothing else, I want him to get some match sharpness out of this. Tau even almost scored, and he's the worst player on my team right now. Williams has been having a quiet match so far, but that's okay. 20 minutes in and Ndlovu's already wasting time. It's not for the worst given that we're up by 2 goals, but I don't want him to get into the habit of doing that. There we go. We're getting Williams and Walker going now. With Mabule gone, they're going to be integral to the success of my wing play next year. Although I may end up selling both of them for being foreigners and expensive, but we'll see. Makwakwena gets his brace, assisted by Tau this time. Yes, he drew a yellow card. I really wish it would say what he did to draw the yellow card or show me a highlight when they got a yellow card, because sometimes my guys will get yellow cards and I have no idea why. Off the crossbar and cleared by Mendy. They're starting to park the bus now, and they're confusing the guys a bit. They're not sure how to bring it into the pit box here. And they actually managed to put together a dangerous counter-strike for a moment because of my players getting lazy and not paying that much attention. But Adam was able to put a stop to it before it became any sort of a threat. And now we're right back on the attack again. Good defending there from Vey. May as well point this out again since it's been a long time since the first episode and some people might be tuning in partway through the season. There's a very real chance that I'm butchering the pronunciation of any or all of these names because I am not African. I don't know how to speak any African languages, and so I'm basically trying to pronounce them a combination of phonetically and just what sounds like it works. Walker gets his goal there, assisted by Safema. That's nice. So, if I'm butchering names and you know how to actually pronounce them, I apologize for the damage I'm doing. I will probably continue to do it because even if I see the correct spelling or pronunciation, I'll probably forget it within 2 recording sessions. So it's the risk of me playing a team from a region of the world that I know very little about. And that's when things get dangerous. I told them they were doing well because they are, and I'm not going to lie to them to try to get results. That's horrible for morale. But there's a decent chance that this causes them to let up and just try to coast out the second half of the match. And I really don't want them doing that because it's going to be hard to turn off the coasting. Still, I've got a lot of my best players in here right now. I think that they'll probably stay fairly focused. I know it's Generation Foot already made a substitution to try to make something happen. This is their best chance during the entire match, because this is 15 minutes where they have fresh legs on the pitch, and I'm not going to, because I have no intention of making a substitution until 60 minutes. Yeah, that was pretty sloppy with the ball there by Tunkara. If this was a good team we were up against, they would have at least made the goaltender do some work. Tunkara is starting to fall apart. That was the second bad loss of control he had there in like under 2 minutes. I'm fairly certain that he might be my first sub, but we'll have to wait and see, because those might be his only mistakes that he's made this entire game. And so he might be doing pretty well overall. In general, barring anything specific I notice, I usually try to make my subs based on a combination of who's playing the worst and who's the most tired. We really need to get our heads back in the game. We're actually getting some pressure put on us. I mean, we're 4 up, so I'm not terribly worried. They're not going to close that gap completely, but still, we should be up by their box, bullying them like we were during the first half. We're by far the better team here. And I hope my first substitution can just provide that spark that's necessary to get things going. Might be greedy on my part to insist on still riding out the extra 5 minutes and not just make the sub now, but we're in a position where I think I can afford to do that, and I want to see if they can turn it around on their own. Tunkara is beginning to redeem himself with that nice strike. And Williams and Walker are working well together as always. Not sure what Tao was thinking there. But it paid off. McCoquinot got his hat trick. Very nice to knock that out before I take him off. Okay, Tao looked less confused in the 3D view. Just with that 2D, it looked like he was heading completely the wrong direction when that ball was first thrown in. Absolutely everyone on the team's playing good. Wow, McLaughlin is actually one of the freshest players out there, even though he was only rated to go 90 minutes or 75 minutes. But that still gives me another 10 minutes. So for now, I think I'm going to take Margman off. No one's dangerously tired, so I think I'll put Meilula in for Margman. Just let him get some minutes. Everyone I had the option to sub Margman for is also pretty match sharp. Meilula's the worst of them, but that's partially why I'm putting him in there. He's not very comfortable in this position. He's only 2 stars. But we're 5 goals up with 30 minutes to play. This is a good chance for him to generate some comfort with that position. Alright, this is where, even though I don't love it, McQuaquina's coming off. I'm going to listen to the doctors. I'm going to put Torre in. He's not as good as McQuaquina, but he's a good player. I'm comfortable having him in there, and this keeps me from accidentally breaking McQuaquina, who I'm going to need in more important games in the future. I'm expecting them to have a bit more possession now since I put Melula in, and he is not a great player in the position I'm playing him, but that's alright. A bit more possession isn't a bit more goals, and even if they score once or even twice, we still win by 3 goals, which is my bar for a good match, so I'm really not worried here. Tunkara made another mistake there, it looked like. Oh, that was dangerous, but Sanago was able to get it. It wasn't a clever play up through our lines, it was just a missed pass that ended up in a dangerous spot, so they couldn't really capitalize on that. Tunkara with another mistake. He seems to kind of fall apart a bit towards the end of the match. And there was the danger I was worried about with Joy. We got lucky that hit the bar. Tell someone to keep an eye on him. Tunkara, despite all those errors, is still the best player I have on the field right now. Looks like actually it's probably going to be Adam that I'm subbing off here. No, I really don't. Mirosavic. Yeah, let's see if I can shuffle Mirosavic around to make something functional here. Adam's the only person scoring in the 7s, and maybe I can bring Sanago out. Yeah, this'll work. I really don't have a lot of depth at this position, so taking the chance to get them practice is really important. Sanaga's only a 2 right now on the in the wingback position there, but he needs to develop some comfort because I just don't have the depth at those positions, and I don't have the financial means to bring it in, so they need to learn to cover it. Torre's in position to get a 6th, which he does. This match is over. There's no coming back for Generation Foot. They would have to score 6 times in 2 minutes. Although, given the timing of that last goal, the game may make us watch this entire last minute. Honestly, I know they're entitled to a minute because of the goal celebration time being allowed, but I think that the ref should probably just whistle it down here. They're not coming back. They're not getting close to coming back. It really doesn't matter that they get the full minute. So this is a time where I would have just been like, well, there's 2 minutes on the clock. It's 92 minutes now. Whistle it dead. There we go. I don't think even their supporters would have been upset if that was whistled dead a little sooner. Nedlevo's got 278 minutes without conceding. Makwakwena made his 25th appearance for us, so he's had basically an average of a goal an appearance for the entire time we've had him. He's definitely going to end up player of the match. Like, I don't even need to look. He got a hat trick. Not much interesting to be said there. Yep, Makwakwena ended up the player of the match. No shock. It's a little disappointing because he's already got perfect morale, so complimenting him on his player of the match doesn't actually do anything. I can't make him happier. Even though we have no money. That guy is pretty good. Should try for him. Wow, they're really bothered that we got beat by Sundance. I mean, that was a bad defeat, but Sundance are a better team than us right now. It's not shocking we lost there. Look at that heat map. It's just 100% up by their goal almost. The board is giving us more money because we're still broke. Not a whole lot of training we can do this week with a couple of matches in there, but looks like after Black Leopards, I think we have the international break, so that's a good sign. And we're drawing the next round for our Conference Cup, or Confederation Cup. Not many teams left in here. Okay, so we have a Ghanan team. Don't know anything about them. I don't believe I've ever played them before. I recognize a lot of these other clubs, but not the Ghanan team. 2.5 stars. We should be able to comfortably beat them. They have a really nice stadium, so I'm looking forward to the away match. Which isn't till April. thought that loading screen was going to go quick, but then it hesitated right at the end. Pretty heavy amount of changes that they're calling for going into this match, but they all look like the correct choice. Bringing in a little better defensive line. Fountain's back from his minor injury. The only change I don't love is having Saket Long in on the wing there. But with Mabule sold now, it's probably just going to have to be him. We're still expected to have an easy win here. Oof, 12 league games without a win for Chippa. So, yeah, that should go well for us, but we're not going to get cocky. I have no intention of playing either of these guys in the match, so they can go to the under 21s. It's always risky telling my team to get stuck in, because they're kind of clumsy. But I'm going to risk it, because if we can just keep the ball away from Chippa all match, it'll keep them from exploiting some of the flaws on the right side right now. No way I'm going to be able to bring in an English forward, but these guys are good enough to be worth a try. I realistically can't afford them. No. Except for this guy. This guy's not worth it. None of these guys are expected to actually be able to come in because we have no money and they expect money. I'm just throwing their names on the list because the board will offer people contracts one way or another, and at least this way they're not offering them to truly terrible players. It's one thing I've learned from this game, that if I let the board make hirings, they will make hiring or send out offers all the time. Shangassi twisted his knee. Only 6 to 8 days. I don't ever really start him, so I don't really care that much. Fountain's fully fine. Manaka's completely fine. Domini's not ready to come back from his groin strain yet, but he's getting close because he's already back into the fitness test stage. Very good pitch. Very nice conditions. So we're not at any sort of heightened risk for injury, at least, which is really good, because we can't afford to eat any injuries. And Adams recovered enough to go in, so we can move Siasi into the defense center here. Still not ideal. I mean, we've got Senamela in. He's not great. Fountain is actually not great at the position we're playing him at. Did I not? Oh yeah, that's as good as he can be. Saket Long's not very good here. Tao's not great in the middle. Other than that, everyone's really good, so We're playing a weak team. This should be fine, but I don't love it. I'd like to have some stronger players in a couple of those positions, but they're tired from the Generation Foot match. And it may have been a mistake to put them in there, but I am trying to win the Confederation Cup this year, so I need to take some of those risks, even if I think it's a winnable game without it, and it doesn't really matter that much. Looks like they're already just parking the bus. Don't really expect us to, I don't really expect to get many chances. They're just trying to keep us from scoring. Although that was a bad pass that gave them an opportunity. But they couldn't control the ball, and their opportunity's gone. Or not. They actually took the lead there with a goal by Labisi. I think that's how you say it. First goal of the season for him. Hopefully this will wake the guys up a bit, because they were playing awful slack. I mean, that was the weak part of the field that we got hit on, but still. We should not have allowed that through. Oh, well, there we go. McQuaquanon immediately equalized. Gets his 24th of the season. But yeah, we're playing like shit because they almost got a second there. That was not a very comfortable save. I think they're mad about their position in the league, and they're definitely trying to avoid relegation. And we're kind of overconfident, so there are some pretty major issues showing up here. This is what I was afraid of with that Generation Foot match. This is why I didn't let them let up there, because I didn't want them to get slack, but they did. And now we're really starting to show the issues, because Chippa should not be challenging us like this. I'm still happy with the directions I gave them coming into the match. It's just on them to execute, and there's not a whole lot I can do to enhance that from the moment. If they don't get their shit together, I'm going to yell at them at halftime. Yelling from the side of the pitch just tends to stress them out more and make them play worse. Some teams respond really well to them. This is not one of those. These guys get all up in their heads and just play worse. They've gotten it in their head for some reason to try to make long passes. And they're not good at that because I've had them play a short passing game for 7 seasons now. I feel a little better now that we're up in a goal thanks to Margman. He doesn't score a lot, but when he does, it's usually impressive. We're bouncing between 4th and 3rd place right now. I don't think it's going to stick. Overall, the team in 3rd has a couple of games in hand on us, so even if we steal 3rd for a little while, it's not going to last once they play those extra games. There we go. Mkwakwana took his 25th goal of the season. Now we have some breathing room. I'm less worried about the guys making stupid mistakes now. And it looks like exactly what I hoped happened, and they've kind of grown into the game. They're focused again now. They understand that they're playing a tougher opponent who will actually take advantage of their lapses in concentration. We're up to 60% possession. They're still dominating on shots, but that's largely because they've parked the bus and we're not able to take a lot of shots. But it's gone from me being really stressed out by how they were playing to actually being able to tell them I'm happy with them. They overcame an early disadvantage and have a 2-goal advantage at the half. I'm not sure what happened there. Looked like no one tried for it. It just kind of soared through the box, right past a couple people, and out for a goal kick. We're still making these long, sloppy passes that I don't love them doing. Part of this is just I have a bunch of bad players in, but a lot of it is mental errors that they're making. We'll see if I can shake things up in a minute here. They took an injury right when I went to that screen. That's what I was saying about our guys and being told to get stuck in, but it's pretty easy Saketlon getting subbed for Torre here. Torre is also awful in that wing position, but at least he might play well, because Saketlong isn't. Saketlong is the main source for those long, sloppy passes that I was stressing about. That's as good as Torre is going to get in that position, which isn't great. He's only 2 stars. But at least he can play it. I'm not sure what that was. It's a good thing Ned Lovo's a great goaltender. And now we're only up by a goal again, thanks to Lubisi getting his second goal of the season. Everyone I have out there is playing pretty well, but I think I need to take Walker off. He's a combination of tired and not playing fantastic. So we'll put Human in, see if I can shuffle things around to make Human actually work in that role. Yeah, we'll bring Fountain up. Human can sit back here as a central midfielder, and then Fountain can play as a fairly poor advanced playmaker, but at least he's passable. Don't love it, but it's the best I'm gonna get. My bench is a little thin today. There we go. McQuaquanad with his 26 gives us a 2-goal lead again. Now I don't feel so bad about some of those weaker substitutions I made. We're having to play straight up the middle because both my wingers are not up to the first team level right now. I think we'll take Fountain. Oh no, I got absolutely no one to put in for Fountain. I guess Melula is the best option I have. At least it's an attacking position I had to sub him into. I don't need more goals, I just need to not have goals scored on me. That was a pretty terrible attempt and time's almost run out. But Popo gets a goal. It's close. It's only 1 goal difference. With a minute remaining in the match plus stoppage time. They've got it in their heads to not be beat today. Not sure why they showed me that. I had no doubt that he was onside. Ooh, full 5 minutes. That's suboptimal. Is McLaughlin going to do it again? Oh, well, we've won. Back up the 2-goal lead. McLaughlin gets his second hat trick in a row. This would have been a hell of a match to be a neutral at. Probably going to go right out to 97 minutes because there was... Oh no, only one goal was in the... And they didn't give the extra time for our goal celebration there. So Nidlovu was finally beaten after going 278 minutes without conceding. Adam made his 25th appearance for us. That's nice. Definitely telling the team I appreciated their effort. We brought a weak team. And they gutted it out and got a commanding win. I mean, sure, it was against the worst team in the league right now, but they still had to work to earn it. See if I can talk Tao out of this element of his contract. You know what? That's fair. I had to ask, but I'm not gonna try to force the issue. The board signed that agreement with him. And now look, McQuaquina, player of the match again, wasting it on someone with perfect morale. Well, that was today's sessions. They played out about how I expected, although the Chippa match was more nervous than I anticipated. They made us earn that one. So tune in next time where we have our South African Cup match against Magesi Football Club. Not a real draw there. They're not even in the Premiership. Like, this is going to be a brutal pummeling. Or a huge humiliation on my part, because we can still lose any match, but realistically, we should just dominate those guys. And then an actually difficult match. Well, not super difficult, but a worthwhile match against Black Leopards that's actually... It'll challenge us a bit. So that's the real draw of the next session. They're in 5th, so they're close to our position in the league. We should be able to win that, but it's one where there could be a problem if something goes wrong on our end. So anyway, thanks for watching everyone, and have a good day. We'll talk to you later.